Today is October the 2nd, and the Rapture didn't happen in September. The tribulation in World War III didn't start in September. Debt jubilee didn't happen in September. The Iraqi Dinar revaluation didn't happen in September. And actually, no parts of the wealth transfer happened in September. Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today, I'm doing a follow-up video on the month of September, and September is a hot prophecy month. So I did a video and I shared with you guys what people were saying that was supposed to happen in the month of September. And I also shared with you guys that they've been saying the same thing for many years now for the month of September. And there's always this big push around the Jewish holidays in September. It always ends up being a dud. I shared with you guys that even the news media mocks us, and you wonder why that people mock Christians. And the number one reason that this happens anyway, because Christians allow it to happen, especially in the prophetic realm. You have a lot of false prophets giving prophecy dates and they're not coming to pass. And so if they're saying that they're hearing God and they're hearing his voice and their prophecy doesn't come to pass, then there is something else going on other than them trying to be a false prophet. I think literally some people are mentally delusional. You know, I didn't know that if you just have a few prophetic dreams, you could call yourself a prophet. I didn't know you can be a self-ordained apostle. And so now we have the YouTube church going on here, where everybody can be anything that they want to be. And we had to deal with our own false prophets back in 2021. There are some lessons that I even learned about that. But then even over the last 12 months, I've been watching channels like Drew Bloom and Matthew 7:15 and a handful of other channels that follow a lot of different prophets or people making prophecies or dates. And I didn't realize how bad it really was. And one of the reasons why false prophets and some of these people that are attracted to the wealth transfer is this very reason. Because money is going into these investments. So if they know that you are giving money into these investments, they hope that you give to them. Because it wasn't enough to give prophecies anymore, general prophecies, right? They need something else. So they turn to the wealth transfer. And so that's why you have all these false prophets and false dreamers and scammers too. I have kicked out scammers in my group who were trying to portray themselves as Christians and that God was showing them to develop this project. And it was a rug pull to begin with. Right? And some of those people are still in those other public wealth transfer groups. But one of the things is, I keep hearing these prophets say the wealth transfer, and they don't give you any details. What part are you talking about? When these so-called prophets say this, question them on it. And we should be challenging these prophets or people who are claiming to be the mouthpiece of God when they speak a prophecy and it doesn't come to pass. Because you know what happens? Most people are defending these people. And let me share this before I go any further. Because Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 20 through 22, you guys have to know that if you were a prophet back in the day, if all these people that are speaking all these false prophecies about the tribulation and the rapture and the debt jubilee and all that stuff, right? If they lived in the Old Testament, they would already be dead. In verse 20 it says, "But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die." All those people that are out there right now that have given a false date. Now, luckily, we're under grace. But it was so bad, the way that God looked at it, that you were put to death. So, in the New Testament, and under grace, we should not be doing the same thing, but we allow it to happen. And this is how you know if a person is speaking on behalf of God. Right? And if you say in your heart, "How shall we know the word which the Lord has not spoken?" When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the thing does not happen or come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken presumptuously. You shall not be afraid of him. So for all the people that say, "Do my prophets no harm?" the Bible says, I don't have to be afraid of them. But if you're prophesying these major events and they don't come to pass, you are definitely not hearing from God. And so we have to question everything else that they've said. And especially when new people come in and they say, put yourself in a position by April, and then we test the prophecy, April comes and goes, and it goes from 69,000% above all-time low to 5,000% above all-time low in a matter of a few months. You could have waited, like I said, and I received a lot of heat for telling people to wait to buy WikiCat. And if you are speaking on behalf of the Lord, you are in that moment being a prophet, because you are saying God said. When you say the Lord showed me a dream, you say the Lord showed me this, the Lord spoke to me about that. That means you are operating as a prophet. And there are people that do get away, or they try to get away with it, like Bo Pony, Troy Black. And they both say God said. And especially Troy Black, if you go to his YouTube channel, he's got the Lord said this, the Lord showed me this, the angel showed me that. He has all these things. He is operating as a prophet. And I used to show his prophecies until they were not coming to pass. And the very last one that I shared was, he said September 28th and September 29th, the most important day in the history of the world in 2021. And September came and gone. And people said, well, wait till next year. Next year came and gone. And now we're here over 2 years later and still nothing. That he gave a September prophecy. Right? So he was jumping on the bandwagon like everybody else. And that's how people get views. That's how people bring in their money. That's how people gain their followers. You know, you might be actually following somebody who's really mentally ill and they think they're a prophet. So I'm going to go ahead and share again really quick the 3 people that prophesied the wealth transfer was going to happen in September. So here's the video now.
And I'm seeing wealth transfer in the month of September. I see a lot of wealth transfer. And I'm seeing wealth transfer in the month of September. I see a lot of wealth transfer.
So this is September. September is a pivotal time of a shift, of a transition, of a going from one level to the next. We do not go to the next level without being purified, another level of purity, another level of cleansing. That next level has a huge weight for you to carry. And it has amazing provision, you guys. Amazing provision. So in the dream of 2 or 3 weeks, I knew very clearly, and I was saying it over to myself and to the person, to the Lord in the dream. In 2 or 3 weeks, it's coming. Everything's about to happen in 2 or 3 weeks. Miraculous provision's going to be poured out. The wealth transfer is upon us. You guys, this is September. Woo!
Just some days ago when I was asleep, God woke me up. And I was so tired. God woke me up. I heard the voice of the Lord loud and clear. I heard him audibly. I heard God say, the wealth transfer is coming the month of September and October. That was his exact words. That's exactly what he told me, you guys. And he has given me so many prophetic dreams. When I heard God, I felt peace. I felt comfort. When God gave me this message, he placed it on my spirit to share it with others.
So you heard the prophecies from all 3 people. All right, so we're going to go over one of these one at a time. All right, now the first one is very simple, and that is this guy who calls himself Prophet Abel. He claims he is a prophet. He kept saying, I see wealth transfer in September. It didn't happen. So he is not hearing from God. You know, when I first come across somebody who does this, I don't even look at any other prophecies. I wait to see if the prophecy they gave that has a date, I wait to see if it comes to pass. I'm not going to waste my time looking at any other false prophecies, because if he was wrong about this, he was probably wrong about a lot of other things. So that one is pretty easy, right? So you got people that come in and they try to get into the wealth transfer, right? And they try to prophesy about the wealth transfer, but he didn't say what part. He didn't tell you how to position yourself. And so he's assumed because God is going to act in the month of September for his people, because it's a, prophetic month. It's all these Jewish holidays and New Year and all this stuff, right? But they were all wrong. Now, the next one was the Alicia Robinson ministry, right? She said September, right? Now, I'm going to share some things because, with this particular person and what she said, she made prophecies last year. She confirmed Camille Hedrick's prophecies of October the 22nd in the banking. And she also said the wealth transfer was going to happen in September of last year. That's her background, right? So I actually shared some of her prophetic words to show you guys that she gave a prophetic date. And when you go to her channel, right, she claims that she's a prophetess, but when you actually go to one of her videos, she says that she is a prophetess and apostle. Okay, now an apostle works in all 5 areas of the ministry: the prophet, the evangelist, the shepherd, and the teacher. But so she's claiming to be all these things. But when you go to her page and you look at all her videos, she's just regurgitating everybody else's prophecies. And it just makes no sense. I see nothing on her channel that says anything that she is an apostle. And this is what God says about apostles. Right? In 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 12 through 14, Paul is writing. And he says, now Paul is talking about false apostles. And he says, but what I do, I will also continue to do, that I may cut off the opportunity from those who desire an opportunity to be regarded just as we are in the things which they boast. So what is Paul saying there? Paul is saying that there are people that desire to be held up in esteem like Paul is. And they're boasting about some of the things that they're doing. So there are people that are trying to act like Paul and be like Paul, but they are not apostles. He said in verse 13, for such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. Let me tell you something. If somebody is claiming to be an apostle, they should be able to operate in all areas. And giving general prophecies does not make them a prophet or a real apostle. Now, one of the things that I found out, there's this other channel called Sammy B for the Light, and he talks about the wealth transfer, and he comes out with this video about rebuking Alicia Robinson. So I guess they communicate back and forth. But the thing about it is that what she had said was, please pray for me. The month of September, nothing happened for Sheba. I'm lost for words on what to tell the YouTube family. So he shared what she had said about her false prophecy. Right? So she knows she gave a false prophecy. And so to me, she's not an apostle. She's not a prophet. I think she's just a wannabe. That's just the honest truth. She wants to be a prophet. So the next person is Liberty from Spirit Move Ministries. As I shared in the video, she said wealth transfer in the month of September. She was completely wrong. She has over 69,000 subscribers, right? And over 31,000 people watched that video. And so her prophecy concerning the wealth transfer in September was wrong. She said 2 to 3 weeks, and September's pivotal. She said September. So I waited all the way till October the 2nd to talk about this. She claimed that this massive wealth transfer event, just like everybody else in the past, said that was going to come, and it didn't come. And she talks about being on the receiving end of the wealth transfer. She gives no details on how to be a part of the wealth transfer. It's just going to come magically for you. And it's not going to surprise me that people will defend any of these people. So these prophets were all wrong. All right, so we're just going to leave it at that. So folks, we're in the last days. We have a lot of people claiming to be hearing from God. We just need to be a lot more strict. The times that we're heading into, people don't understand what's really coming, especially in the financial markets. I'm not even talking about prophetically. There's a mountain of debt that is just building and building and building. And there's going to come a time when that debt is going to burst. And I want everybody to be prepared for that when that time period comes. And that's just part of the things that are going to be happening down the road in the future that you need to prepare for. So anyways, folks, that is all that I have for this today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.